What'd you think about that?
Good.
So now I think Dad gets a turn. Oh, you're not done, buddy. You're gonna go up with me and your dad now. What do you think about that? Is that a good idea?
Good.
Yeah, puts them right back on. That's what I'm talking about.
We're going again?
Yes.
Done waiting, huh? King of the Hill coming back. I heard something about that. Make sure we got all our levels and stuff. Yeah, we should be good. I didn't jack with too much. Let's see who we all got in the. And yeah, I just figured I'm messing around with some other stuff, and I had some unfinished business, and why not, right? I'll be tinkering around. Had a bunch of stuff going to do today and get done, and now everybody's settling down, and I get to goof off with the tech stuff, right? No, I never did anything like full setup of like lights and camera. I think that's still evolving. I'm still trying to. I need to find me a different rack. I need to actually find me a rack to do and hang it and get off these stupid little tripods that I knock over all the time. But no, I haven't done anything with that. Well, Rachel, you can always pile back in and just rewind it, and you can put it in 2x, which 2x speed, it'll just sound like normal talking, and you'll get past a lot of the rambling, and then you'll catch back up, right? So Blairy, if that was, I don't know if Tony's gonna be here this evening. I know I kind of just did this short notice anyway, but Blairy is the kind of play on words for BLE, which is Bluetooth Low Energy, and then there's that Blerry scripting in Tasmota, and it allows to do a bunch of different code and things without having to do firmware changes and pull requests and everything. And it's, I don't know if you kind of want to say it, kind of the mixture of maybe how kind of some stuff with ESP Home is. You can kind of do your own code, and then without changing firmware stuff, and it kind of in the Tasmota world. So that's a kind of high level top down type situation deal. But he's done some really good work on it. I did a whole video on it several months ago, and then Tony invalidated it with making it so much easier. And I had that little, which I had planned, I've been sitting on my desk, that little Shelly i4 4 button, there's no relay to it. And it has that ESP32 solo, and maybe even we'll get to I'll put ESP Home on it as well, because I know I haven't tried to do ESP Home with a solo ESP, single core. It's what the solo part is. So let me jump to, and no, we will not start out right with some product links, right? So I know we're talking about the wallet stuff, but hey, if y'all want to, we can scroll through some, I don't know, some $1,000 items. I'm sure I can find some on Amazon, some $400 light switches. I think there's some of those out there that I would cringe at trying to even bother to look at. So I guess first things first is I wanted to get that Shelly i4 thing on the network. Monster K, yeah, that doesn't surprise me. I know they had, there was actually, speaking of that, there was some closeouts at Walmart on the clearance, and you were able to get some monster light, like things you stuck together, light panels, and they were WS2812, and they did have ESPs in them, and they were like $20 or something like that. So yeah, that was pretty weird, but I haven't really done anything with mine yet. Tasmota Zigbee light bulbs for non-flash. Oh, well, so if you want, check out, we were talking about depending on what country you're in, there's the Atom stuff. There's the cough stuff that's in the United States on Amazon. There's also the cloud-free stuff. And that's all pre-flashed for you. Take it out the box, has Tasmota on it, and done. We talked about that other Varage stuff. I did want to kind of unbox one of those. But, yeah, so that one doesn't have I don't think he has any light bulbs, though, and he's in Canada. Let's see. Yeah, see, I'll leave the link. There's the cloud-free ones, and then there's the cough ones. A cough does a bulb that's pretty similar to the cloud-free, and the cough bulbs are pretty similar, and they're pre-flashed out the box, so you don't have to do any soldering type stuff, and they come with Tasmota, and you can do ESP Home as well. They're not, of course, not Zigbee, but if you want Zigbee, that's it. You just pick up any Zigbee pretty much, and then pair it up. You're just not going to get all the features and stuff that you probably may want in Tasmota, like device groups. So, yeah, get rid of everything to you. That is definitely a good idea. Once you've gone local and you have that time where the internet's down for a couple hours or whatever, and it's just beautiful to see that, hey, the kids are fussing about Netflix, but everything else works just fine. Like, there's no difference in the controlling the air conditioner or heater or whatever, and it just still works. So we're gonna do that. I'm gonna hook up let's see if we can do the half and half. Might be a little better. So this is that, I don't know, Shelly i4 Plus, or I guess I should look at the box. Shelly Plus i4. I don't know if you can order them yet. They might be on pre-order. I know they sent that along with that Shelly Plus 2 PM. But they do have the stock firmware, which I wanted to show on the stock firmware real quick. I do appreciate any vendor doing this. I'm going to power this up with mains right quick. Let's see. We need to add, and hopefully this does not mess up anything with the stream. We will find out very quickly. I think it's 30. They called it the Tuya Cloud Cutter. Don't hold your breath too strong. Did they release it yet? Oh, the i4 must be talking about, right? So I thought this was cool that this is the stock Shelly firmware, and you'll notice there's no having to do anything. I didn't have to pair this with any app. All I did was just attach to the access point on it. And I mean, you can come in here and do all the things with adding the MQTT to it. And you can really, if you just want to do this and then use I think there's also a built-in integration for Shelly and Home Assistant now. But I'm not too much for wanting to do a lot of the stock firmware stuff. But I just wanted to show how cool this is, even though I don't use it. But it's still, they kind of fit all the different crowds out there, where if you want to do the cloud thing, or you still want to do the local and then not flash, but then you want to do the flashing and then you want to do your own thing, it's kind of pretty awesome that they allow this to do all in one product. They definitely, you know, catering to everybody, which is pretty cool. So I wanted to flash this one real quick, and I wanted to back it up first, and that's what I want to show, because I do get people asking, well, hey, how do I back up firmware? And where do I go get the commands and everything like that? So I'm going to disconnect this from mains right quick. Let's go back to, we'll do full desk. All right. So that little USB thing was Tony Lamont's. He makes those little flashers, and you can plug them straight into the Shellys, which is pretty cool. So one thing I do like to do is, before I try to flash anything, is I just do ESP tool pi flash ID. And then this will tell you if you have all your connections right and have everything going right. Now the cool thing about his little flasher is it will automatically reset, so you don't have to go power cycle it. But if you don't have one, you can just do like the little wires like I did in that previous Shelly one. Oh, 30 days left on that hack, huh? And I know they're gonna, for that hack, we did talk about it a little bit. They're saying that they do have to have a firmware dump from one to do an exploit for it, based, I guess, because it's probably due to every firmware build. There has to be some sort of buffer overrun or something they're probably doing. So it's not going to be kind of like the old days of the 2U convert, where you just go and do your own thing and just flash Tasmota to it or whatnot. It's pretty cool. I think it's still, if it turns out to be, but not going to be like the Wild Wild West like it was. So what I like to go do is look for you can go get it from the Tasmota docs. There's the command here, if you want to, is do the backup firmware. Now the default is just doing for 1 megabyte. Now that's where I do the big key, is I'm grabbing the flash size here, which is, we're going to see 4 megabytes. So I want to back up to 4 megabyte. And let's grab that, and I don't need that IP anymore. We'll back up this one. And then we'll, look, it's got the carriage return in it. You probably can take the port out of it, but I like to make sure and do the baud. I'm not going to do the full baud rate. And then we'll do 4, and then we'll do 4 megabyte. I got time to catch up now. And this, you don't have to do the backing up, but in case you do want to go back to stock for some reason. I know Shelly used to publish all the firmwares and stuff, but I haven't seen them, unless I'm just totally missing them. I haven't seen where they've been publishing some of the later firmwares for their devices, unfortunately. I'm sure, I guess if I asked, you know, they may. But I did even ask for the technical documents on the Shelly plus 2 PM, but I haven't heard anything back. So, Never even got 2U convert to work. It's a little... It's surprisingly that we still have 2U convert working on some... They still got... 2U convert still works on some devices. So... I would go over there and mess with something on the table, but I guarantee I'd probably bump this thing like a fool. Sour isn't with us tonight to pick on me. And I don't see Jim, so that's fine. Everybody else is busy or taking a nap tonight, so that's just fine. Did not expect everybody to hit 2 nights in a row, so... All right, now we are going to flash the, I have tried this, and I don't know why it doesn't work, but we'll see, we'll try it. Is trying this with that flasher, that Tony Lamont's, it does not work for me for some reason. So if I'm gonna do Tasmota 32 solo with Bluetooth, and maybe it'll make a liar out of me. I'm picking the COM port. And say install, erase device, next, install. Let's see if it works. It might make a liar out of me. I hope so. See, and it does, even though it says, hey, it failed or whatever, but then I can come back in here and it's got COM port 11. Oh, because Chrome has the COM port. Let's try it again. Yeah, and so it's there. It's fine. I don't know why that the flasher doesn't work with his thing, but if I do it manually, it works just fine. So if I go over to GitHub, Tasmota, and then look for firmware, unofficial. And there's the cool thing about it now, they make these 1 bin file flashes. You don't need all those little pieces. So just grab the Tasmota 32 solo factory bin and download. And we'll copy it over there. ESP, where are we at? Shelly i4. Is that what folder I'm in? I forgot which one I'm in. Shelly i4 stock. Paste. Okay. If I can find my folders. Okay. Is ESP32 support has been in Tasmota for shoot a few years now? Couple years? And I'll actually say, I know it was backwards. ESP32 support was in ESP Home, but it was like super beta, even like on Tasmota. But then now it's, I would say the ESP32, especially all the different variants and pieces, has definitely surpassed what ESP Home supports. I'm chopping off my screen. There, I couldn't see it. Behind me. So the build name is Tasmota 32 Solo, that one Bluetooth. And it doesn't take too, oh, didn't like that. Maybe we'll power cycle it. Is it not liking the baud rate? I have seen that where it doesn't like these higher baud rates. If not, I'll just power cycle it. Yeah, see, it just didn't like that 92. I don't know if that's probably the reason why that the flasher or the on GitHub, maybe because of that higher baud rate. I'm not sure why it's not liking that higher baud rate. $56K, that's it. And then here's the cool part that not everybody that was, because a lot of people did start with Tasmota flashing with 2-year convert. And the cool part is if you're, this goes to any device. If you're serial flashing stuff, and meaning you have something plugged into it, whether it be a jig or solder and everything. And I see so many times people will say, well, hey, I did this, and then now I can't get the access point working on the device. Well, you have serial access. You should not even need the access point feature. We never really used that. This is back when we used to have to flash all the Sonoff basics and everything using serial. And if you just pull up a terminal, go to that same COM port. I'm just using Termite. And if you hit enter, and you may have to power cycle the device. And remember, if you're using something like with a jig or whatever, take GPIO 0 off of it so you're let it boot. And you're right here at the Tasmota console. So you can type in stuff and see all the things right there. Like, and of course, I don't have an IP address because I don't have my SSID in there. And so I have an SSID that I will throw in here. A throwback to want more. You can throw in like a backlog all at once if you want, but I'm just going to throw them in separately. It's going to give me a failure. And then we'll do password 1 and then put in the password. And then while you're in here, now you notice see this brownout detector was triggered? Not enough power, typically. But luckily this thing booted, and you'll see the IP address. I can snag the IP address out as well. So really at this point, for this device, I'll just go ahead and take it off the USB flasher, and I will hook it up to mains at that point, and then I'll browse and do the things. So let me do that. While I'm here, I need to make a jumper for my buttons. I guess I could use their little button thing, but then I would have to unplug it every time to change it because those are mains. I can just be dangerous and do it like this, right? Let's do this. Let's see. We will put the proper things on them. If you haven't done these before, they're pretty cool, especially for if you're doing stranded wiring. Because you'll get those little hairs sticking out of them. Let me fix the focus here. you'll get those little strands and just slide these things on. And I guess they're the ferrules, I think is what they're called, the proper name. And I just crimp the metal part, and I've always crimped the plastic part too. It's kind of like a cable grip. And then you don't have those little strands sticking out. And perfect for doing the little screw downs. So the way this is wired up, where's my little screwdriver? That would help. Is you feed mains back, which is always weird with the Shellys, because you're back as the switch. It does use mains power for the switches. And you can see why these turn out to be, if I can get this centered, there you could have a little string of copper going across there, and you won't have that with these. Highly recommended. Unless you're using just a solid core, then of course you don't need it. Okay, so I'll do the crazy thing, and I should be able to just take this wire and I can touch it to the different ones. So this will be hanging out full juice, right? Yeah, I emailed Tony and told him I wanted to see where I could send people those. I hadn't heard anything back from Tony. So, you bought 4 of them. So I did play around actually, and button 1 does work for me now. So it turns off my light on and off. So I'll do the other ones. Let's see. All right, so we got mains. Let's pull up 10.10.1251. All right, and we will zoom it in for everybody. Now this one's a little easier to do. There's no relay to figure out. Can really care less about the LED. I think there is an LED on the back of it, but it's going to be in a switch box anyway. Let's see. All right, Rachel. I'm going through some unfinished business last night, John. I wanted to flash the solo Tasmota 32 with the Bluetooth, and we want to play with the new version of Blairy as well. So I didn't really get to teach anything last night. So I have this is where I keep talking about I want to do my document website that me and Moogle were talking about. That is, I have a lot of stuff saved in files, and I'm going to add this template. Yeah, template. And then module 0. And what this does is, once it reboots, and I'll show you what it does in the template. It's like basically that new device procedure that I have. We talk about in the Discord is a lot. And basically because this is just 4 switch inputs. And if you go to configuration, configure template, and you'll see now Shelly uses what is in is switch no pull up, and there's no pull up resistor. And so I had this template just set. It has all the available pins set as switches. So now the reds are going to be you can't use those pins. So unless you really know what you're doing, but I just left those. So I skipped those, and we'll see where Shelly is actually using those pins. No, this isn't a custom firmware. I just installed this off of the Tasmota GitHub. It's basically the Tasmota. If you go to the Tasmota GitHub under install, this is the firmware files that are behind the scenes in the flasher. But I think with that Tony Lamont's flasher, I'm not able to get it to go to 921600, I think it is, baud rate. And so it fails on mine. This is actually the same exact, if you would go dig through the source code of the website, it's the same exact bin file that when you're picking here. And I just grabbed it from the GitHub and flashed it through ESP ToolPy. So back where were we? So then the other part I do is now I set option 14.1, and what that does, that's going to decouple, but there's no relays anyway, but it's going to put the switch number on MQTT. Even though I don't have MQTT configured, you'll still see it on the console. So if I situate this with the half, where is it this one? Yeah, that one. So we can see what pin it is without making a pop. So that is, okay, so I'm doing them backwards. So what I do is I take and do notes. And so switch, that's number 4, is switch 19. It's not GPIO 19. I'll show you how to do that part after this. So that's 20 is switch 3. Oh, see, you're good. You're good, Tony. You know all this stuff. And then switch 2 equals 9. And then switch 1 equals 7. So then, and this is all I'm doing. I just have a little notepad that I'm just taking and going, here's all the different pins. And so now we got to convert those to actual GPIO pins. So we go to main menu, configuration. This still trips me up, the double menus. And so now I know switch 4 was 19. So that's actually GPIO 26. And then 20 was 27. And then switch 9, so that they're using GPIO 14. And then equals number 7, that's GPIO 12. So now I know that the inputs on here are GPIO 12, 14, 27, 26, if I didn't screw one up. And I'll just toggle. I think if we can do, I thought you could do switch, I guess because there's no other templates. I used to go in here, I'd toggle to just one with nothing, and it would go ahead and toggle everything, but I can just do this. Yeah, we just backed up the thing, and we haven't got to your stuff yet, Tony. All right. GPIO, switch 1 is GPIO 12. So we'll do switch 1. And then GPIO 14 was switch 2. Switch 2. And then 3 was 27. If I did it right. 3. And then 26. Yeah, we'll switch 4. Switch 4. All right. Y'all gonna get me to talk about Zigbee again, right? I see Street Freaks is trying. All right. Now, we should be able to see, without making it short, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. So now we got 1, 2, 3, and 4, so the switch inputs. And I should probably unplug this and wire up correctly. So let me do that right quick. All right, let's unplug. Actually, using that little Cliff quick test, and I don't know if you have seen the price of this damn thing on Amazon. Absolutely insane. Do not pay that. People are nuts. It's probably cheaper to go rape yourself at the Home Depot on some 2x4s than to buy one of those things. I know Boiler Boy was talking about that earlier. The price of 2x4s, they're insane. So we'll put this little guy in. I don't know what the colors are. Do they have a manual? Let's look. Aha, they do. They got a wiring scheme for me. So it looks like red is going to be L. Now I can play some Jeopardy music or something while I wire this damn thing up. And then black is 1. Guess I can say one complaint here is they should have had some little ferrules on these things for you. And then blue is 2. Because this is not low voltage. And then green is the next one. I know I sent the email to was it James? I think it was. It was wanting to make a little different 3D print adapter. I would like to actually install this, but we'll see. Do I have the right size? This is the wrong size clip. Okay. I'm not gonna, I've already passed the wires, so I ain't redoing it. Okay. Find the right thing and swing the mic back. I need to hook up my second mic and just switch back and forth. Not enough time in the day. So we should be able to now yeah. Okay. So the buttons are there, and I'll play. Yeah. We'll get some ice. I'll just put some royalty-free music on while you make a bunch of racket. No, it's okay. So let's do the Blairy things. There, you said they're only DC. it does pass main. You do actually wire in mains. I'll show you how the wiring scheme is on this thing. Let's see. Yes. So you are passing mains into it, and then it comes back, which that's the way always Shelly has always been, the way you did pass mains, which is a good and a bad thing, because you could do the three-way stuff with the mains wiring without any, worry about it being low voltage mixed with high voltage, etc. So there's a love and hate for some of the stuff from the Shellys, but so let's do the Blairy thing, and then we'll see if we can do Tasmota with it. Now, let's go ahead and I'm gonna throw in MQTT right quick, and I really wish that they would change this, because you got to go to config. I wish the configure other. These two options. Yeah, there's no relay in that thing at all. I do wish that these two options, the device name and the friendly name, I wish those were on the MQTT page, because you need to come in here and fix these first before you add MQTT. I4. I hate doing uppercase because I always can't remember how I did what. And fix these first and then go add MQTT, because the reason why is if you put MQTT first with the way Discovery works with the Home Assistant integration, you'll come up and you'll have Tasmota _ light or something like that, and then you'll end up with a bunch of devices just all called Tasmota. Let's see. And I highly recommend setting up a DNS for your MQTT instead of doing an IP address. It's really, and I just did it in, a lot of people do run Pi-hole, and you can go set up local addresses in Pi-hole, and you can just point stuff to IPs you want or whatever DNS server you're using. And that way, if you have an issue with MQTT, because you can put MQTT somewhere on some other IP, we'll just set your new DNS record and reboot all your devices. Easiest way to reboot them, go kick the main breaker for about 5-10 seconds and turn the main breaker back on. Except for this one you have on battery powered, but it works out great. And we will let's do Shelly I4 as well for the topic. It'll work as well as long as you have some of them on not on battery. So just call it Tasmota. Just call them all Tasmota, right? That way you just got to guess. Now I'm curious to see if in Home Assistant, if they do have the triggers already there for, I want to see if it's there. Automations. Ah, there you are. So yeah, so they do have the automations already there for the short presses. Now I think if you did, we would have to set them as button _in, and then we could do SO73, and that would let us do the multi-press. So then you could get, what, 5? It gets you 20 options off of that. So, what's up, Radio Nerd? Look, Kenny in the house. Just call them all Tasmota. So now here's the cool. Remember that whole long video I did with the whole how to set up Blairy. I'm going to show you how cool this is. Tony did put this into the main branch now. Depends on which one I'm drinking. So there's T number 1. There's T number 2. And no, that's not an advertisement for Neighbors Federal Credit Union. And then T number 3. So it just depends on what you gotta keep it in rotation. If you drink them in different orders, you'll get different flavors on the front end to the back end. So that's a whole nother deal. And if you believe that, I'm sorry. It's all bullshit. So all you do is you go in here and add this. Actually, he did it as, yeah, this is it right here. You can copy this, but I know everybody's used to the console. Check this out. So all I've done, as you can see, let me close some of these windows, is I just have my device on, basically have your ESP32 with the Bluetooth bin, and you have it set up on your network, and then paste this in and hit enter. And if it worked, there we go. And it does pull from an HTTPS address on the internet. So if you do have them on a VLAN that's blocking the internet for some reason, this will not work unless you have a thing set where you're allowed to go into that GitHub. Just keep that in mind. So as you can see right here, Blairy is loaded. That's that difficult. Copy and paste, you're done. Yeah, exactly, Tony. You saw how I could go through the video and we could just delete probably several minutes of downloading and unzipping and uploading and everything. So, yeah. So then the other cool part is how do you add your sensors, right? Now, Tony can probably add a little more to that than I can. I've gone through here and just said like set device. There's different commands and you do these straight on the console. And I just, like, he does give you an example, which is cool. Blairy set device. This is the MAC ID. And now if you don't know how to find the MAC IDs, some devices you can go through and find the MAC IDs. Will make the Blairy install easier. Can it really get that much easier? Don't tempt him. He will find a better way. If you go into, you can see configuration and configure BLE, and let's do active scan, and we'll give it a second. Sometimes it'll find some of your device. I already know some of mine. It can be a whole thing of trying to find your MAC IDs. But there's that one goofy little meter that I have, and we can add that one in, I think. But let's see. I'll show you how difficult this is. So configuration, we will go through, go back to consoles. Is the installer take care of the upgrade? So this is one of mine. This is that Inkbird thermometer I have in the freezer. I know Zippy or Zappy, I know he's trying to screw with me in his names. I haven't drank that much yet, but this one, so there, you'll notice there's I have not had to go upload any files to it yet. So watch, here's the second cool part is if you're curious which sensors he's currently supporting, if you scroll down, I think he's got a table. So you got the Xiaomi ones, there's the Goovy, all these different Goovies, got I know you people like to probe your meat thermometers. And then, or you get some 4 probing, and then there's ThermoPro, and he's got the SwitchBot stuff. I know he's working on some other SwitchBot curtain, SwitchBot remote stuff, all straight through using the Blairy stuff. So if you're curious which ones that do support, he's got a bunch of different documentation. If you want to keep your stuff in YAML and then you can copy it in, it uses that JSON, but it's pretty straightforward. Just go play around with it in the documentation. But for the most part, is that you lose it if pi hole's down. Well, see, that's why you set up 2 pi holes. You got a primary and the secondary DNS, right? You don't laugh. I actually have 2 pi holes set up just for that reason. I thought about that. So just paste it in and you'll see it saying Blairy set device done. Now, I believe you do have to do a restart. Maybe I'm not patient enough. But I believe you do have to do a restart. I don't know if Tony is in here, but I think I've done a restart to get it to pull. It will pull the driver down. And side note, you can type restart with one hand. Restart 1. All with your left hand. And so it added, there's the driver. It loaded the driver. You can see that's for that Inkbird. And it already starts to publish the Inkbird. And that's it. And you'll see actually when you go into Home Assistant, I know this confuses people in Home Assistant where you're looking for, because you would think, hey, it's a sensor on my Shelly i4, right? And people come in here, oh my God, I can't find it. It's not going to be right here. It's actually the auto discoveries under MQTT devices. So if you come into MQTT devices, and I called mine that Blairy Freezer Inkbird, and there it is right here, and it pulls up and it shows you all the sensor information. You can do all the thing there. So pretty slick that we didn't have to go download any files or anything. Really, the only thing you need is this little script, setup script here. You can copy it and paste it, and then your set device, and then your MAC ID and what your model of your device is. So, and pretty simple, pretty cool stuff. I'm gonna do a just to show you a different one. That Xiaomi one. I have one on my porch that is C. And I'll give it a different name. Blairy live stream. And that's just one of those, I don't know if I have one available. That's those little Xiaomi sensors that, I got cloud-free stuff set up here. So let's go see what, I think he still has them on here. Does that spell it right? Yeah. That's these little things off of, and you can get them from cloud-free, Amazon, AliExpress, whatever. That's those little Bluetooth sensors that, and you can put the regular the ATC firmware on them, and there's no flashing. It's just done over the air. So it's not like soldering them or whatnot. So pretty neat little sensors for $5. All right, so we got the ones for the live stream one. And also the cool thing is it will show the stuff in here. I know it looks kind of funky, but it works and shows in here. But let's go jump into Home Assistant and see if we can find it. I called it Blairy live stream. And that battery's getting low. And that's it. And you can see that that's the wonderful 77% humidity outside at a nice 71 degrees outside. Yeah, I don't think you'll have the caching problem with Tasmota if you just restart them, right? And call it a day. So 71. Yeah, it got up to what? Let's see. It got up to what? Porch. Yeah, see, it got up to we hit 80 today. I know Patrick probably got a little higher over there in Florida, but we got to 80 today. And it wasn't too it was overcast most of the day. It rained a couple little parts and pieces there. Let's see. Yeah, so the humidity was, I don't know, most of the day was in the 60%, which is not too bad. So yeah, I figured you'd be a little higher, Patrick. Had the AC running most of the day on the I know people were asking about this before. Is on the Emporia. Yeah, so I've had the AC running. Just one of my ACs, my little AC, and it spills over enough into the other part of the house. So was setting 94 some days, or getting. Must be on mobile. Or drinking more than me. See, a good 60. I love 65 that's a perfect day. So so any questions about the Blairy stuff? I mean, you can see it definitely got a crap load easier. We're disgusted. We didn't make it out of February before hitting 90s. Yep. Get your attic work done now. Yeah, that's a good idea. You can send that command over MQTT in a Node Red flow. Yep. So definitely awesome stuff. If y'all want to see some other, I know Caleb talked about. I have heard from a friend named Caleb that there's a button down here. Yeah, there's an orange button that's a bribe button to get him to buy more stuff or help you out. I did find that when Tony has time, that I know he helped out Caleb with what did he mention, that radon sensor or something like that? That's for all those cool basement things. I don't have any of those basement things. So I forgot where Caleb was at talking. There it is. His driver, radon eye, BLE sensor. So 121, 90. You can have that 121, 90% humidity. I'll pass on that. So yeah, I can kind of see why that, because if you're going through and want to add a bunch of commands at once, and one thing I did want to talk about is, we're talking about redundancy, is you can have multiple devices pick up multiple sensors at once. So you can have, say, an ESP32C3 little node MCU chip on one side of the house. You could have some other switch or whatever. And as long as they can pick up those BLE, you can have them listen for those same BLE sensors, and they'll, in case they miss them, because you are doing Wi-Fi and Bluetooth and it's switching on these ESP chips, so it could potentially miss some packets, and you have to wait around till that temperature comes again. You could, and for redundancy, have multiple sensors picking up the same exact thing. So Newt Scott, I think we were asking about using the ESP32 on the Solo, I believe. We can give it a shot. With the ESP Home thing, I can kludge through it. I just see if it'll compile. I'm gonna copy and paste what Zero Ping used for that Linkind switch. I don't have a Linkind switch that I can just send to, but it's the same exact chip in this Shelly, so we can kind of dummy it up. It should be fine. Let's go grab that right quick. Zero Ping posted this on a GitHub gist or gist, how you want to say it. We can give it a shot. We can give some little love to some ESP Home, right? New device. New device. And I don't like how it does this, and it screws up my damn secrets file. Yeah, let me fix this right quick. I hate when it does this. MWP2. What? Oh, okay. We got to ESP32. We'll do skip. And let me fix this stupid thing on my damn secrets. It does. It messes up and uses the damn, screws up my secrets. Let me copy in my stuff right. Wasn't prepared totally to do this, but we'll see. We'll do some little ESP Home. All right. Let's copy out of this one. Where's it at? New device. You can see I will kludge through all this. Need the Wi-Fi stuff. Hope I don't mess it up. Oh, I need a static IP. See, this is why I do not do a whole lot of ESP Home, because I need the static IP per device. Let's just use this one. That one should be fine. I don't have anything on that one, I don't believe. Finally, you see, look at Justin. But see, it's all up. I had some throwbacks to your stuff, Justin. Is my SSID is the LEDs. I just went and enabled that again. Let's see, what's it complaining about? Yeah, Wi-Fi Pass 2 is enabled. Why is it saying it's not enabled? Oh, it's called password. All right. Now what's it complaining about? Am I missing something? Oh, this right here. See, this is... I don't want my password, my OTA. I don't want this to lock me out. Sure, we'll do API. That should be all good. And there was something I saw in Zero Ping's stuff we had to enable. Where'd it go? Why'd this window de-dock? Oh, whatever. Save. We'll get back to it. What did he put for here? ESP32. What did he add? Framework type. Oh, so he did ESP IDF. Okay. Didn't that change a bunch of stuff where I know we had, when I did that with the Emporia, it does a bunch of different things. What is it complaining about now? This feature is only available with... Does that not work? Yeah. So you have to use IDF for the single core? How do you get this to compile? If it complains... This feature is on... What feature? Just setting a name? What the hell? Yeah, now it says the ESP... Oh, ESP Home. Which feature? Oh, captive portal. I don't want damn captive portal anyway, right? Jeez. ESP Home's easier, they said. Yeah. I see that. Let's see what else he added in here. Light, output. We don't have a light to do. What was a new Scott? What was your Does the BLE stuff even work under IDF, Tony? This is kind of might be all for naught. What is it? I have my in here the BLE tracker. I think it is. Does that even work in IDF? Yeah. Okay, it does. I'm not sure how to compile. I'm not going to burn up everybody's time. It does work. We can hit. So where's the? I want the web thing. I definitely don't want to lock myself out of this thing. I guess I could. Where's the? Does the web? I don't think the web thing works under IDF. The web server. I don't think that works. I guess I could on this one. Yep, the web server doesn't work under it. We can try it. Let's give it a shot. I think I have everything. Install, manual download, and we'll hurry up and wait on that. Because IDF takes a while to... I don't know if there's some other stuff we can get. You can do just the solo. I don't want to burn up everybody's time trying to wait for it to... it does take a while to build, so... Let's switch over to something else while it's compiling. I did want to show... I didn't give a proper... showing. If I can get my mic to stay. Let's see if of the Varage stuff, and we talked about that. I thought this was cool that his pre-flash, the guy in Canada doing these, he did the RF bridge, but you'll notice he put his placard where it would say like Sonoff, I believe, with the Sonoff. This is the older model of the RF bridge, but he pre-flashes all this, and I thought the packaging was pretty slick. I did take this apart earlier. That's what the feet were. He does all the little things and even gives you a little braided USB power supply thing, which was pretty cool. Now, he did write a bunch of software to help the newbies out without having to configure everything. And he did, let's see, what did he send me? A plug. I would call this a receptacle. This is that receptacle. And these are all pre-flashed. I know Rachel was asking about some of these before, but I think Cloud Free has, I don't know if he has this one as well. But this one, I don't know if it does independent power. No, it might. Does it do power monitoring? I think it does. We can fire one up and see. We'll fire that one up and see. And then he has a switch. I know we've seen these switches. Was it Milfra? The joke always. Milfra has, and it has the LED kind of stick through on the top. And I still see it's compiling. So I know this is not really a commercial for Varage. Varage did not pay me or anything. He just sent these to me. He does have, these are 433 megahertz. A big honker style wireless indoor PIR detector. Yeah, so it's 433 megahertz and it has PET. Why is it? It must be the battery thing clanging inside. How do you open the battery compartment? I can get it to come open. There we go. Yeah, okay, so that was he does include the batteries in it. Oh, that's the 433 megahertz antenna inside clanging. So I like to see their real batteries. That's cool. I've seen these before. These are the 433 megahertz door sensors. They think they do open and close. So that's to work with that bridge. If you're not doing the Zigbee thing. And he's got one last thing. He's got a dimmer. This looks familiar, like Kesson. Yeah. Kesson builds these. You can see by his Kesson KS7012. So there's probably, I hadn't seen this particular model. Interesting. Looks like D was D and S. I know there's different things setting with the different LEDs, but I'm assuming this has a secondary Tuya MCU, so you probably can't do like double press, single press. It's just going to do the dimming, probably. If I looked at the template on it, I bet you it's just 2 pins. But I'll fire up the plug and we'll see how that works out. It's still compiling. So okay, Kenny, you do have those. So I know that everybody's always asking, what about Canada? What about Canada? So yeah, that was kind of cool. He's done a lot of the packaging and stuff, and I'd love always seeing that there's pre-flashed options for folks. Let's see if we can pile this in here while we're waiting. And I'm getting this thing powered in. I know he's done a little different fork of Tasmota to make it easier with his add-ons, but if you can just put your own Tasmota on it. You can see the IDF ones take forever to compile on ESP Home. So let's see if we get this plugged in. Yeah, Varage plug. I'm looking at my Wi-Fi access point. Let's see. Oh, he's got a password. What's the password? Let me look at the manual. Admin. Okay, nope. There we go. Admin. Look, it's a bad password. So you can see he's done a little different things with the hub address, MDNS. Okay, so you can set a lot of this before. That's kind of cool. I like that idea, actually. That you can set all this before it connects. Interesting. Look, one more. We're using your SSID. We'll leave that password. We'll do it admin still. Hub address, enable hub support. I don't have that. I don't want MDNS. Plug and plug 2, plug 3, and we'll hit save. And we'll see if it comes online. I bet you ESP Home is still compiling. It was nuts. This is not a Pi it's compiling on. This is on a 12-core Ryzen 3600. So it's like no slouch. And I guarantee it's maxing out freaking all the cores. That it just takes forever to compile. I don't know why those IDF ones take forever to compile. Let's see if I can find the IP address right quick. I can only imagine how long it would take on a Pi 3. It would take forever. Or can you even do IDF on a Pi 3? 10.10.1.2.3.8. I'm kind of curious to see what else he changed on here. Okay. Yeah, okay, so you're there. Look at Kenny. He's on it. No power monitoring. But you do have independent control of the plugs, plus you do have the USB. I'm just curious to see. Now I'm being nosy. What he changed in here. He changed up a good bit of stuff. Interesting. Console. He shoved the I guess he made it more user friendly. You're shoving the console and stuff in there because with his add-on and stuff, you're just gonna put it on the network and it would join in, and you wouldn't have to go do any of this. That's pretty slick. But I don't have HAOS with any of the add-on stuff, so that's pretty neat. I'm curious to see what happens. This is the key. Can you still do... See, I noticed the URL upgrade was gone. Okay. So can we do... and see what happens? We'll find out. We may brick it. We'll soft brick it, but we'll see what happens. I know it's going to be doing the minimal in between. Let's see. I heard it click. Yeah. Okay. It looks like you can. I do like he's done that. So, oh, look, it's going to... back to Sonoff Basic though. It's got Varage. Oh, so it's got the same plug on there, but it's going to Sonoff Basic as the configure module. Does he have? It doesn't have the templates built in. But I bet you if we went to Varage Labs and get the template for it. Tech specs. I think it's where I found them last night. I want to do this first. Reset 5. The colors were driving me weird. It must be the... I can hear the relay clicking. It must be on one of the status LEDs. Okay. And template module 0. Oh. There is a bad... something wrong with his template. It did not like the JSON on it. Invalid JSON. I wonder if it's those quotes doing that. The quotes end up, yep, that's sure what it is. We've seen this before. The quotes end up messing up. They have like the backward double quotes. Did I lose the chat or everybody just being, I'm doing something totally boring? We can always switch to something else. Yeah, we're still online. It must be boring stuff, right? Are y'all that engaged in just trying to learn? That's what it is. I'll go with that one. See, look, Zappy's got it. He fell asleep. I fell asleep waiting on the ESP Home to compile. Yeah. So cool. I like to see all the cool pre-flash stuff. Let's check on our Look, it's still compiling. Oh my God. It's riveting. Sure. Yeah, we'll just sit here and watch ESP Home compile for however long it takes. Any magic smoke? No, I'm going to try not to make any magic smoke off of it. So, we'll try to do that. Yeah, look, I can see on his dimmer, 2272, that's just going to be the regular Tuya MCU module 54. So, that's it. So cool stuff there. What else did I have? I wanted to mess with. Really, that was about it. Was wanting to mess around with the Shelly stuff and run Blairy, and so I just want to let it run and just see how well it runs. Watching the boot count. I know Tony is going through a bunch of different testing of different firmwares and whatnot, and some of them, the newer drivers had some issues, and then there's some. Tony's been going pretty quickly with it, and I've lost track of some of it. I know he was trying some of the later ones. He's doing a lot of testing of different firmware versions for the BLE drivers. So I was going to figure I'd test it with one of the latest and rock and roll and see how it works out. So, oh, Tony, I wonder if you're still here. That stupid... Well, we shouldn't say that. Shouldn't say that, Travis. Where's it at? That Max K Go, that knockoff Pixel Blaze thing. I want to show you the firmware on it. Let's see. USB-C. So it does work for the most part, and you probably can't see it. We'll get it out the light. You can kind of, I do have one little animation on it, but it does work. We'll just stick it over my shoulder like that, right? I didn't add it to my network. I just went to the little access point that's on it. Are we almost done? on the compiling. And I'll pull up the list. Tech fashion. So this is their wonderful firmware. And if you have their patterns, you'll recognize if you do the, let's see if I say it right, LED. If you use the WLED, it looks like the same, like, I guess it's based off of fast LED, or is it NeoPixel? I noticed a lot of the same names, the ICU and the color wipe and the flow and the plasma and the police. So it's, then there's the brightness. Look, we can crank up the brightness. There we go. And speed, there we go. Y'all can see it now. The color, LED. It did have the LED types in here. I think the ones that they sent, the little short ones, were the WS2815 with the 2 data lines. Well, I guess it's 1 clock and 1 data line. RGB mode, the quantity, and then your Wi-Fi, then you update firmware. And that's pretty much it. So it's pretty, yeah, exactly. It's, you can see that I guess the hardware of the Pixel Blaze is open source, but of course his firmware, his firmware looks like way, Pixel Blaze it looks pretty slick from what I saw on his stuff. Yeah. This was like one of his, I don't want to play and get a strike thing or whatever, because if I play the audio, but looks like he had a lot different, let's see if we can mute this. Yeah, it'd be muted. Yeah. So it looks like, I'm guessing that's the firmware on the right. Yeah. That's pretty slick. He's got, I was just going through looking at some of the stuff on the Pixel Blaze stuff, and that's pretty slick. That apparently this was his thing as well, this like costume. Let's see if they can turn the lights out. That's that's badass. So to have like a whole, that's awesome. You could do some Madonna missile stuff there, I'm sure. So, but yeah, you can see the firmware is pretty well, it's jank, like you said. So, but the hardware, I guess, if you want to do something simple, then just put WLED on it and call it a day. Or WLED. Now y'all don't, I forgot how I was pronouncing it. Y'all were picking on me. So we just changed it to LED. What's up, Flying Moose? Look, still compiling. This is Newt's fault. And just to show, it is compiling using all of the juice of all 12 cores. So it's not any slouch. So it's hitting pretty good. So crazy why it takes that long to compile the ESP IDF stuff. So that's pretty much, I didn't forget anything else that I was trying to do yesterday, but maybe we can get this compiled. If y'all got any questions, any other things we know, I've been on here hour and a half. Man, time flies when you're having fun. Takes 12 cores to compile software. Exactly. I can only imagine. Is there, I don't know if anybody knows, is there something on the Solo that we don't have to use IDF? Is the plug 15 amps? I think he actually listed tech specs on there. I don't want to add to cart. I just want to go to it. I want to say it was, did it say 15 amp? Oh, okay. Use with up to 1500 watts per plug, or 1800 watts, 15 amps for the entire device. And the USB, I just saw it finished 2.1 amps. And I don't think that's quick charge or anything like that. But you could run some LEDs off of it, right? All right. We have compiled. Let's see if we can screw up our Shelly with sending that over. Firmware upgrade. Choose file. Let's see. Downloads the Newt device. And we will start upgrading and see what happens. It might give me a failure. I think I got to turn on one of the set options, I think. I don't know if they still have that feature. I have to go back and look at what IP address. We'll see. But it's not really going to do much. I didn't put anything. I just want to see if it's connected. Ah, it's successful. Let's see. I don't remember what IP address I used. It should be here. I closed that damn window. It was either 29 or 41. I can't remember. 1 second. Let me look at my secrets. I keep all of my IPs in. I can show this part of it. I keep all the IP addresses. And I think I use 29, because it's half the time it'll say like, oh, I can't connect to it when trying to do an OTA, and it just pisses me off. And so I just use static IPs, and that's always worked. And I just go ahead and throw the name in here. That way I can see down the list of what the static IPs were without having to, if I forget one. Let's see if it pings. Maybe we have to probably have to restart it maybe. We'll see what happens. All right, Joseph. Look, I'm getting the same thing as you, Newt. Oh, it connected. There's nothing on it, but it should still let me do this. Integrations, add ESP Home. It should let me do that, I'm assuming. Yeah. Yep. So I think those are leftover sensors from the probably that. Oh, look, it's pulling up as Tasmota. That's just combining those two, but it does show the firmware for that. But that's because it's combining those. I should have deleted the one from Discovery first. So it does work if you compile it and stuff. So it should. If you want to do the I feel kind of lost without it. I don't have the BLE. I guess the BLE tracker did work. If you can put your code in there, it should be fine. So, and yeah, do your thing. I mean, the only thing I didn't throw in here, I'll try it later and just see if if it doesn't work, is I'll try to throw in these other exact. I mean, I shouldn't throw out anything. These light output and the binary sensors. I don't think it's going to mess up any of the GPIOs with the Shelly, but I'll just try them. So, but I don't think Zero Ping would have posted that without not testing it. So I'll give it a shot and see it later because I don't think it'll take as long to compile, but it'll be a lot quicker. So yeah, you can see all I did is just stripped it down to what I call just a rolling chassis, pretty much. It just to have it on the network and call it a day. But then I did add that I did add BLE tracker. So if you do find something you don't have to use the ESP IDF, let me know. If you dig around, I looked around ESP Home, and I did not see at this time on their documentation showing how to do for the ESP32. It just says board type. And that says the S2 and the C3 are in development, but I don't see anything about the solo of where to set that at. No, I'm not seeing that in their docs, but it might be buried in some GitHub thread that you're supposed to know about, but I don't know. All right. I want to see, did Kenny had these two? I think he did. Did he call it a plug or receptacle? I can see I can pick on him. Oh, there's a Cliff quick test. If you don't want to buy the Cliff quick test off of Amazon, that's absurd. Maybe he called it receptacle. Where's he have it? Just probably under relays. He's got too many things now. Well, we got to play with some ESP Home stuff, right? Yeah, no, okay. Maybe he doesn't have it on there. Maybe I'm not seeing it. I see he's back ordered on plugs. I guess that's a good thing. People are buying them. That's cool. Quick test. I was actually looking for on the receptacles. Yeah, check this out. 75.61 for a Cliff quick test, and on Amazon for a piece of plastic with 3 springs. Now I do love this little device, but it's probably, if I had to say, I do appreciate that he has it for a lot cheaper. If he has some in stock, I don't know. Does he have them in stock? Yeah, so he's got some in stock, it looks like. So I do like them. It does allow you to just put stuff in when playing around with mains, but when you're plugging in plugs and things. But I really feel, I think these were pre-COVID was like $30 or $35, and then they just shot up in the past couple of years, which is ridiculous for what it is. But it's pretty cool that it does have a fuse inside, and the way it works, if you saw some of the things, actually I got mine from, I didn't even know about them, and one of a viewer said, hey, I don't like you showing videos and you messing with mains power and just wire nuts, and it freaks me out. And so they sent me one to actually, maybe they did not feel my safety was kind of sucked, so which is understandable. I've only gotten shocked once, I think, and I'd forgotten I was so used to a lot of the plugs having the little jumpers already on them, and this one actually, like with the Linkines, had the screws, like normal ones, and I grabbed the side of the plug and touched the screw, and I only did that once, so definitely only do that once. But oh, see, look, you're the radio nerd. You're the one. That's it. That was what, 2019? I'd have to go back and look at my emails. So I do appreciate that. How do I share a turnkey? That's a little more for me to, yeah. I would go back and look back in my emails and find that one. So, but you can definitely see I still use that today. Yeah. So you can see I still use that thing today. So if you haven't see how they work, once you open it up, now that all of this on this side, all the spring-loaded contacts is all dead, because you see that little copper tooth thing at the top is once that's closed, there's two of them inside, if you can see, and those actually make the connections to those little copper contacts. So, and then once you do close it all the way, that's when it makes the connection. They go back. So I think we kind of talked a little bit about doing some commercial stuff last night, and like I say, I do know somebody that does something, but do some things, but they do a maintenance contract with them to keep up with all the things. I just can't see dumping Home Assistant to somebody, and then I guess if you just made it static in time where it doesn't see any updates or anything, and you're not using any cloud stuff, and you're just using 100% local, and they're not doing any type of Nabu Casa or whatever, I probably wouldn't even expose it to the internet because you're not going to be updating anything with it. Maybe that you could do it. So, yeah. I really wish someone would make another, like the market's there. Like someone could come out with another Cliff Quick Test that for $25-$30 you would think. So, how to share the code. I don't know what you mean share the code. I guess I like to sell my microgreens rack automation. I guess if you just gave the code to them, I'm not sure the whole thing on that one, the whole setup of what you got going on. So, yeah, I could give them I guess because you're giving the code and everything, and you could just give them the code. So that's pretty awesome, Radio Nerd, that you still around after all this time. I do thank you for that. So it's pretty cool. All right. That was pretty much it for me. We did the Blairy thing. I know I didn't touch on any Node-RED things or anything like I kind of did yesterday. If you do everything set up, it's that easy. But when you do it set up, if you do it set up in the GUI, then it creates the YAML. So, then you'll have the YAML. Yeah, I mean, because even when you're doing the automations, when you're editing the automations in the GUI, it still edits the text file behind the scenes. It actually just still edits the automations YAML, because you can still go in there. Yeah, there were some different ones, little cheaper plugs, fit like a glove, they were using some Wago connectors and off of Thingiverse. Everybody was talking about. I think it was like Wago Tester or something like that. Yeah, something like these. They were doing little Wago power rails to pop in some Wagos. They had I thought that was kind of slick, that little design there. And they just took a lamp cord of some sort, and then they put the little Wagos in there. I would like to, if you want to do one like that, it really almost need a fourth. As I always said that even with mine, especially when you're testing like light switches and dimmers and stuff like that, then you'll still want to deadhead that load wire just to really make it safer. So, what you mean? They had some dimmer switches that were Tasmatized. Latest updates ended up pulling them apart and pushed to. but not working like they used to. So if I'm assuming you're talking about the OG Martin Jerry dimmers. They were on sale today, by the way. Talking about these. I'm assuming. That they're actually not on sale anymore. It's back to $20 a pop. The original, the OG ones. And yeah, I do call, if you're ever wondering, I call my son Owen. We actually named him Owen for one of the reasons was so his initials could be OG, even though he's not really the OG, but we still call him OG all the time. But if you go to on the PWM dimmer documentation, and you don't need any template or anything for them, and you really probably don't need, I still had that fork out there on like 9.5. And if you want to use my fork, you can. I still have it out there on my Tasmota fork GitHub in the instructions. But if I would probably more lean towards just going stock on the PWM dimmer, and you just go in there and pick PWM dimmers, just module 73, I believe. And then you can even do all the stuff of, like I showed in one of my intros, of device groups of like holding down the button and cycling colors with bulbs. And there's all kinds of stuff in here. It does work a little bit different because used to you could push the buttons, and I think you can. PCDM said the way of changing the delay you can, but now I'm kind of used to on the ones I have it still set where you just hold them like a normal dimmer. And there's all kinds of the setup. Just I know it's long, but you can read through some of the stuff with PWM dimmer, and it should work. You just got to really set the the dimmer range. And if you're still having some issue, you can go through and just hit us up on Discord. But if you really, really want to, I guess I need to pull them forward with the eventually I probably will pull them forward, because I think I had, this one 9.5, and it probably doesn't have that right. Well, it should work on the Tasmota integration. It should be fine. If you don't use set option 19, it should be fine if you still want to use this fork with the rules and stuff. I do get that, hey, you change something on somebody, like that's why I haven't changed over a couple of mine, because it changes the way they work. Try it out. I mean, you can try both of them out, but definitely do not use set option 19.1. Use the Home Assistant integration, where you just go and put your stuff in for the integration into that, not the add-on, but the integration, and it just pops in, like I showed like the very beginning when I did the Shelly i4. So you bottom water. That just sounds weird, bottom watering. And y'all, it's like all this stuff. And I was looking up, and I'm not judging anybody. Do what you want. But it's funny, you go look on. I was looking for a 4-inch blower fan or something like that for my, something like this. And it's amazing. Everybody just grows tomatoes in their house. I thought that was really just amazing that when you go look at the comments, a lot of people just grow tomatoes in their house. I think it's really awesome. So, but I don't think they're really growing tomatoes in their house. See? They just growing these things with tomatoes and everything. That's pretty awesome stuff. And even though a lot of the different reviews had that, I had got a good laugh that they were careful of what they posted pictures of on the, even though it probably legal in their state or country, but they were very careful on what they posted. Yeah, carbon filtering the smell of tomatoes. Exactly. So I just wanted them, because I didn't want to replace my whole vent, and it was loud as hell, and it had a 4-inch, so I just moved my fan away from the vent and put a hose in between, and it worked out great for doing the used to smoke his tomatoes. That'd be interesting. Yeah, so I mounted one of these in my attic just for actually my bathroom fan for the fart fan. So, but that was interesting. Well, there's printer porn, however you want to say it. So you think a couple people when you did the join thing, I was like, well, what is that? So we will have to get to Colorado soon, right? I guess it's a few other states now. So I don't know. I haven't followed all the rules and everything. I know things are changing with every year, which is for the good. Good, I think good. So some people may not agree with that, but I do. So. Oh, okay. So head up to old Michigan, right? Get some good tomatoes. All right, everybody. Unless we got any other crazy questions, then I'm gonna head out, and I got some stuff going on in the morning. Another busy day. Then back to work on Monday, and see if I can get a video finally. I got a couple things in the hopper. If I can just get them finished and get time to do them. So maybe I should have done them tonight, right? But I hang out with y'all. All right, Joe, Boiler Boy, check us out in Discord, and y'all take care. And did I change the video at the end? I don't remember. So what you're about to see is just not serious. It's all parody. If there's any resemblance to actual real characters, it's truly just a coincidence, I promise. This week on DigiBear DIY, we're going to show you how to get rid of your farmer's tan. Is this your shirt?
Yes. We use this remote to transport the
What the hell is even that?
I'm just doing me, everything is on me, oh you matter what?
We have a reputation to uphold.
Matter what? Told you I'ma do me, why you hating on me? It's not adding up. I do roll like a Mack truck, country heart, I might cop a farm and go act up. Lot of scars, I was cold-hearted, now I'm back up. Keep it real, I do this once a month, I don't rap much. I just take the money and go stack up. Only buying car till you get tatted up. All that other bull, it don't matter much. You only climb me, I put the ladders up. No fault, I done doubled up on the workload.
They're gonna get so butthurt over this video. And they're just gonna be like, oh my God, I just want to put like all the bad comments in this video. And they're gonna be like, y'all shouldn't have done this, and it's horrible, and they're gonna be reporting the video even though we didn't show anything, and you had fun, right?
Yeah. And please don't call the cops.
They call the cops for what? We didn't do anything.
Like this bad video.
Told you I'ma do me, why you